All right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to my channel. My name is 12 Gage. If you haven't been here before, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for giving my channel the opportunity to see if it fits your needs along the way. First of all, I'd like to thank people for the birthday wishes. Once again, thank them for, the well wishes, the phone calls, the texts, all the great stuff that makes you feel special on your day. I thought I'd get on here tonight. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I thought I'd get on here tonight and give a little bit of some 12 gauge knowledge, I guess. I don't know what you call it. But I wanted to talk about some stuff. It could be true crime related, it could be life related. You just don't ever know what's going to come out of my mouth. But the fact of the matter is I felt that I needed to get on here and I needed to talk. Nothing more than just purging the soul, you know what I mean? And I did create another one, so I had to delete it because I was kind of debating whether to get on here or whether or not. Because, sometimes you don't need to get on when you're in the funkiest of moods, because otherwise it's going to kind of define your channel, define you as a person. People are all of a sudden going to change their bias against you, which, in reality, it doesn't matter one way or the other. But I'm thankful that I have this channel to be able to get on here and use this platform to be able to discuss a lot of different things. You know, I have done a lot of uploads lately, and even though I enjoy the upload, they just get a little boring, because there's no real interaction with the people. There's no real interaction. It's just a video and then you premiere it and then that's it. It's over. Well, tonight I wanted to talk about, decision making. Some of the decisions that we make in life, aren't always the best ones. Hey, PKC, welcome. Some of the decisions that we make in life aren't always the best decisions. And, some of those decisions, they take our journey or our path in life another direction where if we would have made the other decision, we might have been more successful. And one of those decisions that I've always had or struggled with is the path of waiting too long and procrastinating. I guess this being my birthday and everything, I have kind of, I don't know, I guess having an epiphany about my life, about my age. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but just hang with me. No judgment zone. Anyways, whenever we procrastinate and whenever we have good situations that are presented in front of us, we wait too long, the opportunity disappears. We jump too much. We act excited like we've been waiting for it for a long time. We chase it away or we smother out the flame and it goes away eventually, anyways. So it's very hard to gauge it just right, because it's all about timing. It's all about our timing, all about the decisions in which we prepare our life for. You know, I've had to learn along the way that, whenever you make an action towards something, there's going to be a choice involved. And sometimes you can't sit on that choice. Sometimes you can't wait. You can't sit on it. Otherwise, the opportunity is gonna probably stagnate and you're gonna You're gonna miss out. And one thing that I never really prepared for. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One thing that I never really prepared for on this journey is that the mistakes that I had made earlier on would end up representing themselves in other areas of my life that I had solidified. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, or I don't know if it doesn't. It's kind of like the situation that we're dealing with right now in true crime. People are talking about the change of venue. They're talking about the family. They're talking about information, all this other stuff. It's really a tough time out there in them streets. And I'll give my opinion, I guess, on the change of venue eventually, throughout this stream. Do I feel that a change of venue is going to be better for the defendant? I feel that, you know, even though they got their motion and they're waiting for the Supreme Court to gauge where it's going to be held, it may or may not fall, you know, in their favor, the defense's favor in the end, because you just don't know what kind of judge you're going to get if indeed it is a new judge, you know? And one thing for certain is it seemed like the defense had it made in Latah County. It seems like they had it made. I myself don't really understand why they pushed so hard to get it moved, because it seemed like they were getting everything that they wanted. They were getting more time for, motion to compel. They were getting more time for this. They were getting more time for that. So if you're getting what you want, why are you gonna bite the hand that feeds you? But I guess they just weren't patient enough, and that's what I'm talking about as far as decisions. You know, you wait too long or you push the button too much, it could come back to haunt you. In this case, they may have wanted a change of venue, but that change of venue could have come at the expense of the defendant, where they could move this to a different county, but you don't know what kind of judge you're going to be dealing with. You don't know what kind of jury you're going to get. You don't know any of that stuff. You don't know if that judge is going to be rushing things to be like, okay, well, I'm tired of this thing dragging out. We need to have this trial. Hey, Bullets and Bling, Rondi, PKC, LMO, thank you so much for that happy birthday wish. Means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I hope each and every one of you had a wonderful day as well. You know, want you to know that I'm kind of sharing my birthday with you guys because you are the most important thing in this day. So, anyway, like I'm saying, anytime that you feel that you're not getting what you deserve and you get pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope, like they say, sometimes you might get what you ask for and you might not like it. You might not like the outcome. And in this case, it could very well be something that comes back to haunt you. No, I'm not eating any candy. I got a basket of candy and chips and drinks and all this stuff. Um, let me let me send it to my email so I can show you guys. It's awesome looking. I have the best coworkers. You know, like I'm saying, is we always want what we can't have, and that's in life. That's in most anything. So we push for these things. Oh, happy 13th anniversary, B&B. Awesome, awesome. Sometimes we push for things that we feel we need or that we need to control, and in doing so, it comes back to bite us. And we realize that maybe we didn't want this as badly as what we thought we wanted. Have y'all ever been there? Like, because this is kind of like the story of the night, because I'm really kind of just freestyling it pretty much. I'm not really prepared to give a lot, but I'm sharing my birthday with y'all. See, look at that. Doesn't that look cool? That's my office. That's my desk at my office. You see the little guy off on the bookcase? I call him Freedom. That's Freedom. He represents the freedom that people take for granted on a daily basis. And then as you can see, there's my pictures, some of the bookcase, and that's the office, and there's my desk. As you can tell, my office is pretty clean. Um, man, this is a bunch of candy, a bunch of drinks. I mean, I finally went to the doctor yesterday, and he gave me a shot from my toe, and it started feeling better. I went to the gym, did half a mile, and I was like, man, it's starting to hurt. So I just came home and got on here with you guys. So I'm gonna have to work it back pretty slowly. Yeah, those candies are awesome. There's Reese's, Kit Kats, all kinds of stuff. There's chips. So there's the chairs that people come in and sit. And no, I don't run. They come in there and sit, and I counsel them. I counsel them and talk about their problems. So that is my office. And I just finished up another semester. So I will be starting back up in about 3 weeks. And then I'm down to 6 courses. And then the countdown continues. Then I'll have my bachelor's in criminal justice. I'll be just like Brian, having a bachelor's in criminal justice. But you know what? I'm not going to do all the masters and PhD and all that stuff. I ain't doing all that. People are pushing me to go get my master's, but I don't. I've had enough of school, really. Kind of burnt out on it, actually. But anyways, what I'm saying as far as you know, decisions that we make in life sometimes go in our favor and sometimes they don't. He's going to be locked up in a different jail, supposedly. He's going to be, having to go and face a different judge who may start to actually push both sides to get their paperwork in so that we can get this trial on the road. Sometimes you try to do something correctly, and the more that you put it off, the worse you make it. Like at the very at the very beginning of this trial process, they were saying, we want to do this right. We want to do this just one time. We don't want to mess up. We don't have a lot of appeals. We don't want all that to happen. As far as I know, he will be in general population. At least that's what I heard from another podcaster earlier. So according to him, he will be in general population, which I don't know. I mean, people take his word for it because, he's been incarcerated. So, I've never been incarcerated, so I guess, you know, that that is true. I'm gonna go with what he said because I've never been incarcerated, so I don't know about that. Hey, Jeff H, how you doing, buddy? Jeff H, everyone's cup of tea. Y'all give him my hand. Come on, give him my hand here. Jeff H, y'all. Anyways, if he is in general population, I mean, he could meet up with some people that aren't happy about the situation because when you're locked up, people aren't waiting for the court to put a justice out on you. Sometimes they do their own justice, and if they're going to test him, they're going to give him a heart check. I think she was hoping he would change the venue and go with it. He would basically been giving her almost everything she asked for. Yes, I agree with you. Hey, just because the sign next to you too good doesn't mean I have to stop playing. Everybody's cup of tea. Yeah, I mean, they call it a heart check in prison. I don't know if they do that in jail or as much. Like I said, I've never been incarcerated. I've never been in prison because for my licensure, for my degrees, for all the things that I do, you can't have a criminal record. So if you look down on that I haven't been incarcerated, so I don't know what I'm talking about, hey, I have no apologies for that. I went a different path, so I can't apologize for not going to jail, you know what I mean, or going to prison. I have tons of family members, tons of friends, people that I know of that are currently incarcerated right now, so it's not that I don't know people that are incarcerated, but I've never been down that way. I don't know. That's weird. So if he does go to general population, like I said, there could be some people that have been paying attention to the case who just got into jail and they know all about the case because it's been 2 years already. You can't tell me that nobody remembers this case. Probably everybody's wondering, is he coming to our jail? Is he coming to our jail? And there's probably already people talking. Hey, once he gets here, I'm gonna give him a heart check. I'm gonna bust him up, see what he's made of. You just when you got nothing to lose, when you're locked up, you got all day to think about mischievous, deviant things. You have all day, all week, all month waiting for your trial or to be released. And all you're thinking about is either getting out or how you're going to spend your time. And a lot of times, inmates, they spend their time plotting against the guards, against the therapists, against the jailers, against everybody, trying to manipulate their way to get what they want. So I'm sure many jails are going, man, I hope he comes here because I'm going to jack him up. And I mean, the worst thing that could happen is somebody kills him, beats him up to the point that they kill him. Because then we'll never know. Then we'll never know. And I don't know if somewhere, somehow, if this is a plan. I don't think they've been wanting to protect him from all this exposure for these 2 years. I don't know why automatically they'd throw him to the lions, so to speak. But you can imagine that if he's going to general population, he's gonna have to fight a little bit. He's gonna have to prove himself, and you just don't know what he has. He might be a hell of a fighter. He might be able to hold his own. You just never know. But what I'm talking as far as decisions is when you make a decision, and you think that this is the best for me, and you don't do a lot of research. You just kind of go with, Well, this is the best thing. This is the best thing. This is what I want. This is what I want. And then you get it, but you haven't prepared for it. If he gets put with those two that escaped last spring, those dudes are scary. Yeah, I remember those guys. I do. They ran all over, didn't they? Though you don't know where he's going. You don't know where he's going to end up. You don't know any of that stuff. And as far as, the judges, you just don't know that either. You don't know what kind of judge he's going to get. You don't know if they're going to be hardcore or if they're going to be lenient like the one he's had. Because I don't know. I haven't been a fan of this judge at all. From the very first time they had, a hearing, I haven't been a fan of this guy. I haven't. Something that might go in the public's favor because we want to know, we want to know, we want to know, we want to know. So something that might go in our favor is they might lift the gag order. The judge could lift the gag order. The judge could allow cameras back in the courtroom, to give us the opportunity to be able to see exactly what's going on more than what we've seen in the Zoom. I mean, because different judges have different opinions about certain things. And I can tell you, being here in Texas, that most judges are not as lenient as Judge has been or appears to have been. I mean, he could have been going by the book. I don't know. I've never been a judge. You know what I mean? I've never been a judge. How do I know whether he was going by the book and that's what he was supposed to do, or he just appeared soft? He didn't appear very very demonstrative. He didn't seem like he was taking charge of the courtroom. I think one of them is in county, the other's still in Boise. I think the other one here appeared by Zoom, but AT was right there next to him. Okay. Well, that's where Brian is going. If he gets transferred over there to Boise, he'll be in county. What I'm telling you is this: is he had it probably made in this small jail because there wasn't a lot of inmates, there wasn't a lot of publicity, there wasn't a lot of people all around. Nobody really probably knew anything about him. When he gets transferred where he's going, if it's a bigger jail, if it's a bigger kind of institution, then all of a sudden there's no carte blanche. You do what the others do, and you're entitled to the same thing as the others are. It's just it's a bigger jail, bigger situation. You got to deal with it. It isn't like they're going to say, "Oh, you're Brian Koberger. We're going to hide you out because somebody might get you." He's not a celebrity. He is just like us. There's no difference in Brian Koberger and you and I. He's not famous like a movie star. He's not a rapper. He's not, an athlete. He's none of that. So many people have elevated his status to that elevation, but in reality, to the criminal justice system, he's nothing. He's just another person with a number. So you have to remember that. Yeah, if he gets the death penalty, they're going to appeal. They're going to appeal. It's a given. I mean, it's automatic. You get the death penalty, it's an automatic appeal. It's not like, oh my gosh, he got the death penalty. They're going to shoot him the next day. But, some people need to take that into account. He's not a celebrity. He might be a celebrity to some people because some YouTubers, they meet somebody on here and they instantly put them on celebrity status just because they've been on a witness stand or whatever. They're a celebrity. They're not. We're all just human beings. Doesn't matter what we've done in life. To put yourself above anybody is kind of shallow, I think. Don't you? I've done a lot of great things that I have seen in my life, but does that make me any better than people that haven't done those things? No, no, it doesn't. So the fact that people elevate these people to be celebrity status, you know, it just simplistic in mindset. It's like, well, you're a celebrity in my eyes because you were on the witness stand, or you were on this, you were on that. Sometimes you don't even know these people until these cases come around. Really makes me angry that he get to wear a suit and tie. Yeah, that's different. You should not. I mean, I'm not gonna say he should not be able to, but it would be a lot different if he had to wait until the trial, just like most people. Most people wait till the trial, and then you don't want to present yourself in front of the jury dressed in your orange suit, your orange jumpsuit. I get that. I just believe that there's been a lot of smoke and mirrors throughout this whole process. They've been dragging this process out for whatever reason, and somebody above them has gotten tired of paying the bills, and they've told them, you know, get on with it. And if you can't get on with it, find somebody who can, because we're tired of paying these bills. And in reality, if you've never worked for the county, you've never worked for the state, you've never worked for those types of agencies, that's exactly how it goes. They get tired of spending money on these cases that are just dragging on and on and on. They're like, hey, get this going. This should have been done, sealed, and delivered a year ago. And you're still on the bench with this. We haven't even gotten to the motion to suppress yet because every hearing is something different. I saw some YouTubers. They're celebrities. Are they celebrities? No, I'm not a celebrity. I'm only a celebrity in the chat rooms. Whatever. I'm just me. Little old me, Mr. Don't Give a Fuck, still won't leave. Y'all know that lyric? People are still giving me birthdays things. That's awesome, man. It's awesome. So, at one point, people have to make some harsh decisions. And if you can't make those decisions, you got to find somebody who's comfortable making them. Because, are y'all laughing at what I said? Um, you got to make those decisions. See, I'm the type of person that I can make those decisions. I have that personality. I didn't, but I have over time. I've developed that personality. I have that personality that it doesn't matter to me what you are leaving behind, what could have done different, what are you gonna do different, this, that, and the other. If we've reached to that point where it's either you or me, it's gonna be you all day long. I've sent people back to prison because they tested dirty as soon as they got out. Had people crying to me, to begging me, please, please, please. No, a rule is a rule. You broke it. And you say, well, that's crappy, man. But that's just who I am. That is me. You might not agree with me, and that's fine. That's part of the process, bro. But that's just who I am. I'm one of those people that follow the rules because I've broken the damn rules for so long. I know what it's like to be on the other side, and you're only hurting people if you don't hold them to the fire. You're hurting them. You're not helping them. When people say, well, they deserve another chance and this and all that. No. How many chances are you going to give people to continue to do the same thing? To hurt society. Because who's paying for all these things? That's what you got to ask yourself. Are you willing to pay for someone who is not willing to change? At what point are you going to get tired enough and say, you know what? I agree. The laws are too lenient. We need to move on and go back to the old way or whatever. Because I know that there's certain people that suffer in prison. I've had two dear people to me in my heart that have been to prison for long stretches. I went to see these people going through the gates, out the gates. I grew older walking through those gates with these people incarcerated. So don't tell me that I don't realize how harsh the situations are, because I know. But you know what? These people still broke the law. No matter how close they were to me, I was not going to defend their actions of breaking that law. Because everybody has that right and that choice to either follow the law, follow the rules, or you're going to face consequences. And I'm not above the law. I'm not above rules. I'm not above any of that. But I try to do the right thing even when nobody's watching, man. Because I had let myself down, then I start letting other people down that have believed in me for all these years, and then all of a sudden, what am I going to say? Oh, I didn't know. Nobody told me. I didn't understand. Come on, bro. Getting back to this case, this man was 28 years old. So you can't treat him like a kid. You can't say he didn't know. If he didn't do it, he didn't do it. It's whatever. But if he did do it, he knew better. You can't go around making excuses for grown ass people. You can't. All you're doing is stunting their growth. You're stunting their growth, and you're handicapping them from being able to move on with a life that could be otherwise different by different decisions or choices that they can make in life. And I'm not trying to sound cruel or heartless or any of this, but I've seen what enabling does to people. Hell, we have a kid. I'm not even going to share it because I can't share that. But I've seen countless people bring in their elderly mothers and or elderly grandmas, and these are grown people, 40, 50 years old, coming into my office, having these elderly women trying to convince me not to send their people back because they're elderly. While they disrespect these people, they cuss them out, they steal their vehicles to go do God knows what. They do all these things to these people and take advantage of the goodness that they have. And the only time that they care about these people is whenever they have the opportunity or the need to get out of trouble. Come with me, Mom. They're going to try to send me back. Tell them I'm doing everything right. Tell them I'm doing. Man, you're 40 years old, 35, 27. You're a grown ass man. You're a grown ass woman. When are you going to make your choices where you don't need your mom or your dad to be there to talk for you? You know? And that's what I'm talking about right now. Is maybe that's why we haven't seen Brian's family. Maybe and I'm just speculating here. I usually don't, but I'm going to speculate tonight. I don't give two shits. And I'm cussing a little bit. I don't care. I don't care. Not tonight. It's my birthday. That's my excuse. Whatever, 12 gauge. Anyways, maybe that's why we don't see his family. Maybe they realize, hey, we put up with this shit for 27 years of his life. Now he's finally put himself in a position we can't get him out of. He's on his own. You get what I'm saying? Because at one point, people get tired of you. They get tired of helping you when you're unwilling to help yourself. All you do is make excuses, you blame others, you play the victim, you do this, you do that, and you don't help yourself. People get tired of that. They get tired of listening to your excuses. They get tired of you blaming other people. They get tired of you blaming the government or blaming the law or blaming your fifth grade school teacher or whatever. You're blaming all these people for whatever. Thank you, Texas. Welcome, buddy. Thank you so much for that birthday wish. You get what I'm saying? You get tired of hearing this. And I've worked in a prison, so I've heard it all. Believe it or not, there's no guilty people in prison. Imagine that, right? There's no guilty people in prison. They're all innocent. Somebody set them up. The law had it out for them. You know, they were framed. The same excuses we hear on these podcasts on this channel. People want you to believe that more people are framed that go to prison than aren't. You want to test that theory? Why don't you take a tour at your local prison? You tell me if those people belong in there or not. Then you tell me, then you get on these panels and you get in these chats and then you tell me that none of those people belong in that prison. You go take a tour and you go visit and you go down those runs and you listen to the callousness and the childlike behaviors and all this stuff and you tell me, oh, they're all innocent. Y'all are sending innocent people to prison. Take a tour of your local prison and then tell me, come back and tell me that those people are innocent. They don't belong to be in there. You can't tell me that the police get it wrong all the time. You can't tell me that the judges and the juries get it wrong all the time. You can't. I challenge you to go to your local prison and take a tour and look at all the behavior. Stay in there a long time. Stay in there a while where you can see the inmates in their natural habitat. And you walk out and you get on these platforms and you say, you know what, 12 gauge was right. There's a lot more people that deserve to be in there that don't. You're just focusing on what everybody else's bias is right now at this point. You're focusing on where people want you to go with your mentality. They say innocent till proven guilty. So that means that the PCA had nothing. The judges were against him. The cops were against him. Look at all the positive that he's had since he's been incarcerated. Everything that Anne has wanted, she's gotten. Pretty much. And the prosecution, they're just might as well be just over there just chilling. You know? But I challenge y'all for that. You know, I challenge any of you that watch this on replay. If you want to unsub because, you know, my opinion or my thought doesn't match yours, I get it. But I challenge you to go to a prison or go to a jail and you tell me that there's more innocent people in jail than guilty. Texas can tell you, man, he's worked in a prison as well. They're all innocent in there, they tell you, while they're doing everything and anything illegal under the sun. You know, while they're doing everything they're not supposed to. You tell them you can't tattoo, you can't be um you can't be making tattoo guns, you can't be bringing stuff back from the chow hall, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that, and guess what? Every day somebody tried to challenge that. You can't do this. And that's one of the reasons they're in there because they don't believe they should listen to anybody. And isn't that one of the traits that Mr. Koberger supposedly had? That he wanted to be in control, he wanted to be in charge? Let me tell you a story. I was coming back from the ODR. They call that the officer's dining room, okay? I was coming back from the ODR. I had just eaten lunch with some of my coworkers, and we're walking down the hall. And everywhere you go, there's inmates on one side of the wall, and there's inmates going the other way on the other side of the wall. Well, they had this one inmate against the wall, and he was screaming bloody murder. Well, that day, this is a prison. That day, they had baked chicken in the chow hall. That is their dining room, okay? They had baked chicken. And if you've never been in the prison, when they have baked chicken, you know that this is different than any other meal that you have, okay? So this guy's screaming bloody murder. He has his pants down. All you see is his white boxes, right? And he's jumping up and down, squirming this, that, and the other. And I walk by with my friends, and we're kind of watching. This man had stole leg quarters of baked chicken that had just been out of the oven. And he had stuffed them down his pants. And they had burned his leg so bad the skin was bubbling. But that don't stop him. You think that stopped that man? Mm-mm. Only for the moment. They smuggle everything, anything that they can get their hands on. One of the luxuries that I noticed before visitation, that floor wax that you wax the floors with, right? That's a luxury in prison. You know why? Because that gives you the starch, that gives you the crease in your whites. So when you go to visitation, you'd be looking fresh. So what they do, they steal the floor wax and they take it back to the unit. Everybody's trading coffee, soups, tuna packs, you name it, for this floor wax. And everybody's putting it on their whites, put it under their bed. They sleep on it for a couple of days. By the time visitation that weekend, those pants are starched. They're, they're starched with that crease. And no matter how many times they get written up for it, no matter how many times you tell them not to do it, it's a challenge to show you that you don't control them. They control themselves and they can make their own choices. And sometimes they don't make the best choices. They don't. So, whenever you're thinking that these individuals that you see in these courtrooms and they've been sentenced or they've been accused with all this evidence, instead of your first thought is people are out to get them, you might ask yourself, who were they out to get? Who were they out to get? Because in reality, innocent people don't hurt people at all. They don't hurt people at all. They don't steal from them. They don't manipulate them. They don't do any of this stuff. And you say, well, everybody does that. No, not everybody. I know a lot of people that have never stolen, never lied, never been deceitful, never, you know, been in trouble with the law, never drank, never smoked, never done any of it. And that doesn't make them better than anybody else. But what I'm saying is, you can't put everybody in one basket and say, well, everybody does this, because everybody doesn't. But the select few that we put in this basket over here, if the evidence matches and it puts them in that basket, then they're in that basket till they go to trial to see if they're innocent or guilty. And to talk on their innocence or guilt is nothing more than talking, just like people want to talk about the innocence. Well, how come we can't talk about the other side? Give us the same kind of respect that we give you. Because I don't make fun of anybody who has a different opinion than me. I don't call them names. I don't get loud with them. I don't stalk them, or I don't, I don't do any of that. I don't try to go where they're at and try to antagonize them. I don't do any of that. But in reality, if you want to be treated a certain way, give people that same respect. If I'm wrong, I know I'm wrong. You don't have to prove me wrong. Most of the time, I know what I say before I say it. And if my head, I'm going, well, I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm still going to say it, I know that I'm probably wrong. You don't need to prove me wrong. You know? Let me see what you say here, Texas. That's probably a good statement. Elmer Wayne Henley told me he was guilty. And most of them will tell you. They'll tell you, after a while, they'll tell you, hey, I did it. I deserve to be in here. And one thing you might watch out for in the coming weeks, one thing you might watch out for in the coming weeks, the closer it gets to trial, you might see a spiritual conversion in this man that's in jail. If it hasn't already happened now, mark my words, everybody gets religious when they're locked up. Whether they stick to that religious faith or whatever it is that they're searching for, most all people get religious when they're locked up, especially when they're in prison. And at the unit I worked at, they had a box, a wooden box. As they were being paroled, it might shock you how many people had all these Bibles in their bunks, right? But on their way out, they were dropping them off in that wooden box. You know? It could be anything. It could be anything. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, it could be a Muslim. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. See, I'm not really versed in all the universities as far as their affiliation with, spirituality or anything like that, religious beliefs. But thank you for telling me that. Yeah, I mean, he could have already been religious. I'm not saying that. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm merely making a point that there are some people that aren't religious when they go in, and they use that narrative to get parole, to somehow be better than the other inmates. You know, to be housed in a different dorm, because they do have strictly religious dorms. At least they do here in Texas. I don't know about anywhere else, but I can only speak here in Texas. They do have units that have different dorms for different type people. So you go according to what type of people that you run with. So, you know, he could already be religious, you're right. What I'm saying is, you know, most people, not only this gentleman, but anybody, when they're making a decision when it comes to their lives, sometimes you don't make the right choice and you spend the rest of your time trying to make up for that and just digs your hole deeper and deeper and deeper, even if you are innocent, okay? I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. I know at times it sounds like I'm saying he's guilty, you know? Yeah, pretty much. How many pairs of shoes I need? Oh, that's not even all of them, Jeff. There's like one, two, three, 4 rows of shoes there. That's only 2 rows. Um, well, I mean, even if you take everything from people, they don't naturally have to go to religion. There's a lot of people that don't convert. They don't do any of that. They stay true to who they are, you know? You know, they stay true to who they are. I just I want to speak my own truth. I mean, because I guess it annoys me when I go into other people's chats, not because of the discomfort of my thoughts and beliefs, but just how blatant people are about this case and all of the people involved. Like it's almost like a movie that people tune into every Tuesday night. Yeah, they still house you what you were born with. So if you were born a man, at least here in Texas, you're born a man, you're going to go to the man unit, and chances are you're going to be, somebody's little toy. It's just disheartening sometimes when you hear the contempt toward the families, toward the victims. When you hear more grace put upon the defendant than you're putting on what you heard these kids went through. You don't have to feel like I do. You don't have to feel like me. But I'm just telling you, for me, it hurts, man, when I hear people talking about, you know, these kids like they were nothing. Almost like they deserved what they got, you know? It's terrible to think that, you know, that night they were having fun. They were out with their friend, they were doing whatever. And then it went from an innocent Saturday to Sunday morning, and the narrative shifted in everybody's mind that started covering this. The way people talk, Heather, that's how they act with their words. You don't ever hear I mean, if you're going to talk bad about my family, you're talking bad about me because you think any of those 4 kids deserve people talking bad about their families? Because you're in essence talking bad about the kids as well. They're all affiliated together. That is insane, but you can't say that you don't hear that on any of these streams. You don't hear people dogging the families. And the families aren't innocent either. They've done some stuff as well, but you know what? Two wrongs don't make a right, you know? Hey, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just saying two wrongs don't make a right. You know, two wrongs don't make a right. It doesn't make it right no matter how we look at it. In reality there was four victims, six actually, but nobody wants to give those other two any kind of grace. But there are six victims plus everybody associated with those six people. So there's a lot of victims out there that people don't even think about that might be still grieving their family. They might still be grieving their friends. But on these YouTube streets, it's almost like, why are you still grieving? It's been 2 years. Why are you still this? Why are you still that? It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Something weird is happening. All this stuff. Nothing weird is happening. Nothing weird is happening. You know what's happening? Is this is an alternate universe on these YouTube streets. Because in reality, once you unplug and get off these platforms, and once I get off this platform, I don't see anything or hear anything that I see on these streams. I don't see people everywhere I go on my street talking about the Idaho 4. It's like, I bet you in reality, if you went to Moscow, Idaho tomorrow, if you flew in to Boise or wherever you flew into, if you took a cab or an Uber or whatever to Moscow, and Pullman as well, and you just drove through there and you started, eating at places and being friendly and talking to people, I bet you wouldn't find anyone that would be anywhere near what people present these communities to be. There's evil people everywhere. There's mean people everywhere. But you know what? These communities have been thrust in the limelight and they've been dragged through the mud. I've heard one creator talking about everybody in Idaho is inbred, and that's from way back. I'm not going to name him, but you know what? He's been caught on a live saying that. And it's just like, man, who gives us the right to talk down on people we don't even know? There's locals that live there that try to tell us what these areas are like, that they're actually good people, they're, hardworking people, they're this, that, and whatnot. But it's like we want to just believe the most awful things about these areas because there was four kids murdered. Yes, exactly. Then why do people do it? Why do people do it? That's the big question. Yeah, exactly. Why do people do it then, Heather? I was just in a chat, even though I wasn't chatting, I was in a chat a while ago that you were in where they were discussing that same thing we're discussing right now. And people were just feeding that chat with all this stuff that I'm talking about right now. I was in another chat earlier. Wasn't talking because I'm blocked. Same thing. Same thing. I guess you really reach the status when you start being blocked. I'm not going to make 20 alternate egos to be able to see or be able to comment. I don't give a damn whatever you got to say. I mean, you block me, you block me. Come over here and chat and I'll block you back. You know, come over here and I'll block you back. Then we can both feel better about it. But you won't chat. That's the thing. You won't come into the chat. You won't come into the chat and talk. You won't type because you want to sit there and lurk, but you can block me in the chat that's not even your chat. You're just a co-host and you block me in that room. That's crazy. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, I've made more than a couple people mad. I've made more than a couple people mad. And you know what? I keep on smiling and keep on saying, hey, what's up? You can't block me over here. Can't block me over here. You know? How do you know who I'm talking about, Heather? How do you know? I bet Ann's depiction of people in Moscow is way off. His had their intention to paint them in a certain way, maybe not as bad as Bubbly, though. Gray Hughes blocked me for correcting him on the time. You just know. Were you in that chat? Or do you know or did you hear my depiction of it the other day? I haven't watched the video. Where did you send it? Where did you send it? Did you send it to my email? Because I haven't checked my email all day. So if you sent it to my email, I haven't checked it. But I'll check it. Let me check it right now. I'm not trying to blow you off, Nina. I'm really not. Did you figure out your stream? I hope you did because that'll be awesome. And you know what else I want to talk about? You know, it's like even though oh, okay, I'll go check it out in the comments. You know, even though I have a bachelor's in criminal justice, um, I still won't know everything. Oh wow, I'm on your TV, Jeff. That's interesting. That dude put me to sleep, man. Hey, Baywatcher, how you doing? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir or madam. I'm not trying to like. I'm not sure. Either one. But anyway, like I was just saying, um, sometimes you got to stick to what you're true to. I haven't changed since day one. You know, since day one. I haven't changed since day one. Since those uploaded things that Jeff and I did at the very beginning when we were just trying to get this right, trying to understand, you know. Since then, I haven't changed. I haven't changed my view on things because it's not for clicks, it's not for money, it's not for fame. How can you be famous on YouTube? I don't get it. I don't get that. I guess if I get a million views or a million subs, I'll be famous. That's crazy. I'm glad you did, Nina. I'm glad you did. I don't know if he will or not, Heather. I really don't. There's a good possibility. I mean, if they really view that as being, you know, part of the evidence, you know, and it is in the evidence, even a portion of that, they could take it down. But I know you've done some extensive work trying to figure that out to see if, you know, whether that's real, whether it should be up there, whether it shouldn't. You know, I know that you've done a lot of work on that. Um, yeah, it's everywhere. It's been manipulated. It's you know they've they pretty much butchered that. I think anything outside the house other than the Elantra, even if it's not the Linda Lane footage, I believe that if that Elantra was really saw on some videos, those are the only videos that they're really going to show. Linda Lane might not have anything to do with it. I believe that they're going to focus on the inside of the house because if you can't put the man inside the house or even in the vicinity, how are you going to say that he was the one that did it? You know what I mean? How are you going to actually prove that he was the one that did it or even around that vicinity? I mean, the DNA, I don't know if they'll use that either, but I'm pretty certain that they have to give you a scenario of how this individual was able to be caught on camera and place him somehow in the vicinity of that home. You know, it's going to be a tough one. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to be pretty tough. So, whatever they decide to do or however they go about it, yeah, I bet they do too. I saw some footage the other day of this case that I was watching. Man, that camera was it was the Aaron Hernandez one that I was watching. He had some cameras on his house. That was like almost 4K, bro. It was like clear. You could see everything, you know? So it was interesting to see that because you're like, man, every other camera I've ever seen is all grainy and all this other stuff. I appreciate that a lot, Nina. I really do. Thank you so much. I'm just happy to be around for one more year. You know what I mean? You have a good night also. Keep up the great work. If you need a co-host, let me know. I'll hop up there. I get tired of doing my own thing. I'll hop up on your panel even if I don't know the case. I'll still talk. You know me. Just don't get us copyrighted. Have a good night. You know, there's a lot of cases right now that are about to heat up. I saw somewhere earlier about the Murdaugh case that he could be exonerated. Is that true? Did y'all know about that? Have y'all followed that at all? The Murdaugh case? I saw some thumbnail about it. I didn't know if that was real. But yeah. Anyways, based on the decision that I was talking about, sometimes we make good ones, sometimes we make bad ones, and sometimes we make decisions based on what what we feel is right. And our feelings will deceive us. Our feelings will lie to us. And they'll make us do things that we look back later and we go, why did I do that? Yeah, I saw that too. PKC, I saw that too. An active shooter in Kentucky. Man, what's going on with Tennessee and Kentucky and all those areas over there, man? People going crazy over there. Must be the water. People going crazy in Georgia. That kid, like, shut up that school. Yeah, I've heard Ohio's bad too. Nina's been documenting that. I've been paying attention a little bit. So you're in the same state Dago's in, right? He's in Ohio. A lot of these YouTubers are from Ohio. What's up with that? Y'all know each other? Come clean, dope fiend. No, I'm just kidding. No, what's up? What's up with that, Heather? Y'all know each other? So it just the whole world's kind of crazy. The whole world's crazy. Everybody knows you though, hair there. Everybody knows you. I think there was a couple more shootings. I don't know. I mean, it seems like every day there's one. There was a supposedly somebody posted on Snapchat that there was going to be shootings here in this area today. Man, it was like that is some crazy stuff. People kept their kids from school and all kinds of things. It's almost like a way to get out of school, like back in the day we used to call them bomb threats. Now people are threatening to shoot up the school. I say we as if I did it. I didn't ever do any of that. It's interesting what kind of world we live in. There was a threat at a school up in Chewala this morning. Hey Andy, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. I actually worked for MTC, but it was a TDC ran facility. It was in East Texas Treatment Facility up in Henderson. That's where I worked. It was kind of like a treatment farm. They had 2,200 inmates at that yard. So what they do, Andy? Did they lock the school down? Did they keep people from the school? It's going well over here. It's going well. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing it. Hope you're doing well also. Yeah, we have tons of new subscribers. Hopefully they'll get comfortable enough to start coming in the chat. You're safe in this chat, I can promise you. Nobody's gonna attack you, nobody's gonna yell at you, nobody's gonna do any of that. We get along in here. They sent everyone home for the day and looked into it, I guess. Okay. I've heard of the Michael unit. Heard of the Michael unit. Well, I'm glad that they sent the people home because it's better to be safe than sorry these days. It's just terrible that it disrupts so much stuff. Like you always gotta be constant where you go, what you're doing. I mean, here in Texas, we can get a holster and we can carry the gun in public without a license, which I might start doing. Might give me a holster and carry one on my hip, boy. Looking all cowboyed out. I don't know about y'all states if you need a license to carry or not, but if you don't, it might be beneficial to get you a gun and a holster and a clip. Keep that bad boy on lock. You've been known to carry one on your hip? That's good. That's a new law. When I moved to Texas, you had to have a permit. Yeah. Now you don't. Now it's like you pass the criminal background check. You go in there, get your gun, get your ammo, I see this guy where I go do laundry, man. He has a little I say little, he has a 357 on his hip. I see him every Sunday. So I'm like, okay, I feel kind of safe with this man with his gun. I mean, you know, it seems like so many babies being killed recently. Man's girlfriend killed his child over cigarette. That's crazy. He said, I was carrying one for a while without the permit. I didn't know we needed them to have one. That's understandable, man. Now you don't, though. You just can't have it loaded in the car. I think that's the law. I think you can have as long as you have the clip like in the lockbox or whatever, you can still have the gun, where it's visible. Because I know these juveniles, These juveniles, they carry guns all over. They have their guns in their cars. They get stopped, they get a ticket for it, or they get, in custody because they're too young to be carrying. But I think, yeah, that's true. If there ain't one in the pipe, it's useless. Texas loaded, one in the pipe, and you can have one the mag in it though. Okay, okay. I was thinking about getting me a 9 mil 6 hour. Y'all know anything about that? Is that a good starter pistol? I guess I got an AR, but I want a pistol. Or thinking about getting a what they call it, a 40 gauge. I guess no, yeah, something like that. 1911. Yeah, starter pistol. My daily carry was a 40. Damn, damn. You were messing around. You were not messing around. 44. That'll stop some folks. That'll stop some folks right there. Yeah, I was thinking about getting a 40 cal. Doesn't have a lot of kick to it. Well, I'm over here in that part of the state. I've been to west, I've been to east, I've been to south. I'm over here in the west. 6 hours good. All right. Model 44. Okay. Yeah, them 44 mags, they got some kick. I don't know how much kick they got now that I'm an adult, but when I was shooting them as a kid, boy, it almost knocked me down. Yeah. Your son has a Sig 9 millimeter. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at them. I'm gonna get me a pistol. I mean, I want to carry it in my truck. I think if I had a 44 mag though, that'd be just a little too much power. Kind of like having a 357 too, boy. But it will stop somebody. You got to be a good shot though. You just can't. I mean, that's what people don't understand. That's what people don't understand. Just because you got a gun or even a powerful gun doesn't matter if you can't hit anything with it. You know? Yeah, you got to hold it with both hands. You're right. Yeah, I thought the same thing too. It almost knocked me down. You said I thought a 44 was going to take me out when I was a kid. Yeah, that's a powerful gun right there. And it got the short nose, doesn't it? And it has a long barrel, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's a short nose. I don't know though. Is there a short nose, guys? I know I want to get a Mossberg shotgun too. Pistol grip. You know, 6.5 inch barrel. That's ported. Yeah, I want to get a Mossberg pistol grip shotgun. Can't mess with that thing. Aim and squeeze. So you're in the right place, man. See, we talk about guns in here. We are all NRA friendly, it looks like. My brother had one. He stood behind me, bracing me shoulders so it didn't knock me over. Felt like my shoulders and elbows were dislocated. Dang, it is powerful. That is no lie right there. That is no lie. That is no cap, bro. No cap. I mean, I shot that 40 cal and it has a little kick to it, but I like the way it shot and recoiled. It's loud though. It's loud. Has bullets about like that. My AR is nice too. That thing shoots so smooth. It's light. The guy, I bought it at a gun show, and that guy said, this one that you bought, the Navy SEALs use this a lot, in their stuff because it's lightweight. It's not very loud. I mean, it's loud, but it's not like terribly loud. But you know, yeah. Where you at now, Andy? Yeah, you go to a gun show. I was shocked. That was my first gun show I went to. I was walking around. I was like, I'm getting me an AR. And I looked at all of them. I mean, I even thought about getting an A10. I was like, I'm gonna get this one right here. They ran me probably 15 minutes. 15 minutes. You're in Idaho? Don't tell me you're in Idaho, bro. Ran me in 15 minutes. I signed the paper, paid for it. I was out the door. I could have bought as many guns as I wanted that day. You're in Pullman? Wow. So give us firsthand information then. How are the people there? Are they friendly? How's the area? Is shopping better in Moscow? Oh, there ain't nothing wrong in not being in Idaho. I wasn't meaning it like that. I was just shocked if he was in Idaho, you know what I mean? 308 is my favorite round. It's cheaper in Moscow. That's what the boy said. He said the shopping's better in Moscow, so I don't know. They got a Walmart in Moscow? Super Walmart? Target? What kind of grocery store they got up there? They got like Safeways or Albertsons or stuff like that. See, down here we have HEBs and we have, of course, we have Walmart. We have United. They have a small one in Moscow. Poland has a bigger one. Okay. I think I have Texas. I think I have. Yeah, I've been all over. I mean, I travel a lot, so I probably did. Yeah, HEB is the bomb. Safeway, Albertsons, Fred Meyer, Super One. We have Walmart, Safeway, Grocery Outlet, and Ross's. Okay. So y'all got a variety of places to go and shop. I mean, the way people make it sound, it's like it's a one horse town. There's only one Walmart. There's only one restaurant in Moscow, and that's the Mad Greek. All those things, and it's crazy the way it's presented. I'm glad that you guys are actually giving some insight on it. He said the only place I know they had a Walmart and they shut it down because the employees told them blind. Yep, there's a few, but not very many. Have you ever been? Have y'all gone? Have you gone to that Jack in the Box yet? Winco. Okay. Andy, have you gone to that Jack in the Box that everybody talks about? Paula, have you? Have you been to that Jack in the Box in Pullman? That's where you had your first real job. Did you come to Texas to do the oil field stuff, I'm all being all nosy. You don't have to answer that if you don't want. I'm being all nosy. I don't know what a Winco is. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's wild out here when it's booming. You get people from all over the country out here. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty wild. The money's good too. I mean, but it's dangerous work. I was talking to my buddy about that last night. I was like, man, I'm glad I never did that kind of work when I was younger. You know, that's some dangerous work, but it's good money. So I'm asking the right question tonight, Rondi. Is that what you're telling me? I'm not usually a nosy person, but tonight I'm like, you are chatting pretty good, so I'm like, man, I'm gonna ask some questions. Yeah, that's what I heard. The body don't hang in there that long. It's not an older man's game. It's a young man's game, pretty much. Groceries are cheaper at Winco. Okay. I love this comment. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't blame you either. I wouldn't mind being a jailer in Moscow right now. Imagine being that guy that got to escort him into the courtroom. I don't have any insight. Oh, that's cool. I wouldn't press you for info, anyways. That's not who I am. I'm the type of person that I'm going to go to Moscow. I'm going to talk to people. You know what I mean? I'm going to ask them directly, like, hey, you think people would talk to me with my demeanor? You think they'd feel comfortable talking to me? Like if I went up there and started asking people, you know, just very kindly, you think they'd talk to me? BK meet concrete. Yeah, it'd be hardcore, man. It'd be like you'd be in that jail. You'd have to see him. One of those guys is super nice and very friendly. The one that actually stands by the door. Yeah, yeah. Y'all think I could get information? Possibly. Nobody I talked to really talked about the case anymore. See, that's what I've heard, man. That's what I've heard. Nobody really talks about it anymore. Only the people online act like the people in that area are still glued to their TVs or glued to their, if they're listening on YouTube. They wouldn't, but don't tell them you're a YouTuber. No, I tell them my name's 12 Gage. I'm from the great state of Texas. Just coming through town. Try to find me a local to show me around. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't like that either, though. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like that if people invaded your town and they were just like all over the place and weren't friendly, they weren't asking you, they were just trampling all over your yard and stuff. Don't use my cranky voice. I've only seen two people that I know in real life comment on any videos. Actually, it would probably be okay. The guy I talked to asked if I watch good channels or. Did you tell him you watch a good channel? They wouldn't talk to me. I'm too much Texan. Yeah, we've heard your Texas voice. It's not bad though. It's not bad. Your name will help you out. I live in CDA, but they would be willing to take you down there, and we have a guest room. Oh, cool. Coeur d'Alene, right? Is that what CDA is? Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe November, but now that the trial is being pushed even further, maybe next year I might make it down there. I do want to go down there, nothing more just to drive around and actually get a feel for the place because you can tell a lot about a place just by driving through, just by, walking around, just by eating at the restaurants. I mean, that gives you a better feel about a location than, trying to make your own impersonation of it. The guy I talked to did ask if I watch good channels or bad channels. I told him I don't watch conspiracy channels. He just kept talking and talking. Yeah, that Coeur d'Alene looks pretty. I mean, that lake and everything that, the kids showed in their photos and stuff, it looked very pretty. So a lot of those mountains and trees and all that. I don't know. I'd like to go just to drive around, you know, just to see the places that I've been hearing about all this time. Probably do it after the trial though, because I mean, if I go before the trial, then I'll want to go to the trial and all that. Many retired lawn fire from other states here. That's what I would think. It's like, in East Texas, logging is king here in Texas. There's a lot of pine trees, a lot of tall pine, and they're constantly cutting the pine trees down. They're taking them to the mills and all that, and that's what I view Idaho, Oregon, Washington, those areas up there. That's what I would view in my head. I could be wrong. As having a lot of forest work. I could be wrong though. My husband is a logger. Okay, see, I mean, I was thinking about that. I was thinking like, yeah, I was thinking that would probably be the big industry there. Yeah, to be a logger. Yeah, I used to get behind those logging trucks. It just freaked me out, man. They were so long, those trees. Wheat fields. Okay. See, I don't know nothing about all that, but I have seen the logging trucks, and those trucks freak you out getting behind them. But yeah, it's interesting that, you guys have firsthand information and, you have such a gentleness about your approach that you don't get offended that people are actually talking that kind of way about your area that you live. And that's a good thing because you know the truth and that's what matters. Is your truth and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what people assume. They don't live there. You know what I mean? Y'all do. So you can give that firsthand perspective on it. But guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I just, like I hopped on here for a couple minutes. You know what my couple minutes are. It's already been an hour and 35 minutes. Um, but I gotta get to bed because tomorrow's gonna be probably a day of court, a day of transport and all kinds of stuff. No, I talk a lot of smack to the conspiracy people. Well, keep doing that. They need it, you know? Thank you so much, Texas. Keep coming back, bro. All of you, Bullets and Bling, Rondi, PKC, Andy, glad that you're in here chatting, bro. You're welcome here to keep coming back. This is a good place. It's a safe place. We really don't talk a lot of smack in here, you know. We get some people sometimes that get a little rowdy, but not too bad. This is a pretty good place to come and to hang out, It's not one of those kind of places where, you got to get into arguments for just stating your truth. So, you guys have an awesome night. Thank you again so much for your birthday wishes and everything that you do for me. Like I said, I do this for you. No other reason. You're the reason that I get on this thing, not for me, okay? Well, y'all have an awesome night. Maestro, cue that music.